What up, YouTube? Welcome back to the Joe McFo Show. Today, I'm going to be doing something a little self-indulgent, and I'm going to draw some fan art of one of my personal favorite characters, Spider-Man. Now, at the time of this recording, Spider-Man No Way Home, the culmination of the Homecoming trilogy, is about to come out tonight, if not tomorrow. But I'm super excited about it, and I really can't wait to see it. So I just decided, you know what? Why don't I just become a total fanboy and just put this drawing up on the channel, because I was going to do it anyway, and I figured you guys might want to see the process. One thing though, I will admit I did mess up. I recorded the entire process of the drawing, but I did it in 2 segments, and I accidentally deleted the first portion of it. So the first hour or so of the drawing is completely gone, and there's nothing I can do about it. But I do have progress pictures, so I will be showing that in lieu of the actual video process. Again, I'm sorry guys, but I just goofed up. Before I show you the drawing though, I want to tell you a little bit about my process for it. So what I did in order to complete this drawing is I actually pulled together several different references. One I got for the pose itself, because Spider-Man is such a dynamic character, and oftentimes he can be really challenging to draw, even for me and for other artists as well. But at the same time, it's still really, really fun. The other thing that I did was I got some reference of his suit and a close-up of the mask that he wears. And the thing with the suit for this movie is, because the movie isn't officially out just yet, I had a hard time finding any consistent references for it. So I kind of played around and did what I could. I'm sure there's some inaccuracies in the suit itself, but I think it's close enough where hopefully you guys who are super mega Marvel fans won't hate me for it. So here's quick images of the process that I did for creating Spider-Man, starting off with a loose sketch of the pose, and then just refining the costume and the suit a little bit more, and then changing up little things like the angle of the back or the size of the head and stuff like that. And I think the most challenging part of this drawing was actually, as I mentioned in the beginning, just getting the suit right, because there are so many small details that it's hard to catch on some of these promo images and some of the little bits of the trailer, because he's moving so quickly. And almost every reference photo I found had a slightly different interpretation of his suit. So I don't know which one's the real one. I assume I'll find out when I see the movie, but that was pretty challenging. So I ended up kind of doing an amalgamation of everything, and hopefully it all worked out all right. I think it came out pretty decent. And and I also thought it was challenging because I wasn't doing a hyper realistic drawing of Spider-Man. This was something that was meant to look a little bit more animated style, and something that you could potentially see in an animated TV show. Although realistically, this suit is probably too complex for that. Maybe I think maybe if I saw what the suit actually looked like, I could simplify it even more if I didn't have to guess or something. But it's a pretty complex outfit, I think. Now, the reason I love Spider-Man so much, I'll just give you all a little bit of a backstory. I first saw Spider-Man in the 2002 Tobey Maguire movie, and I must have been 6 or 7 years old when it came out. And I remember specifically going to the theater with my friends, and we had the little Spider-Man glove that would shoot webs out. It was like the little stringy web thing. And every time Green Goblin would pop up on the screen, we would be like, "Get him, Spidey!" And then we'd shoot our web at the TV screen. Although I think our parents took out the actual web so we wouldn't hit anybody in the theater, but the motion was still the same. The feeling was there. We were supporting old boy, and I just really fell in love with the character. I loved the acrobatics. I loved all the moves he could do. I loved his humility and the fact that he was just like every other person. And I don't think I was able to comprehend all this as a 6 or 7 year old, but there's something about the character of Spider-Man, or the character of Peter Parker, where it's hard to not feel for him, because he wants to do the right thing all the time. He always looks out for the little guy, and he's willing to put others' needs and desires before himself. And that's something that I just really have always admired about his character. And I think it's actually a very good message for people to see and hear in general. And I think that's I think that plays a huge role in why people think Spider-Man's probably the most popular character, the most beloved superhero character of all time. I remember seeing a chart where it showed the revenue of Batman versus Spider-Man, and Batman's like the highest grossing superhero in the DC world, but Spider-Man like more than doubled what Batman made in any given year. And there's just something about him that people love. And as a kid, I also remember just thinking, well, for one, I didn't know he could talk when I first saw him because he didn't have a mouth. And I was like, well, how is he going to speak if, I had no idea that it was a suit, that it was a mask that he was wearing. And so, yeah. But I had all the video games. I got the Tobey Maguire video games, or the Sam Raimi, whichever you want to call it, the original trilogy. And I also got the Ultimate Spider-Man game, which, if I remember correctly, was actually a gift. I don't think I actually bought the game. I think I traded it or something. But that game was so much fun. And I remember playing that thing every single day, just enjoying the world. And I thought it was so much fun. And I honestly don't think, if it wasn't for Spider-Man and a couple of other movies and shows and cartoons and stuff, that I don't know if I would be where I am today, because there's something about this world that just always makes me excited to see what's going to happen. And these stories also feel very real to me, and not obviously the swinging on the webs and stuff, but just the human struggle. I remember Stan Lee talking about what it was like when he created Spider-Man, and he said that back in 1961, 1962, when he first came out, his editors, his publishers, all of those guys told him that Spider-Man wouldn't work because, one, he's a teenager, and teenagers are reserved for the sidekicks. No one wants to see a teenage superhero because you can't look up to him. Another thing was the fact that he had money problems. And at the time, when you have characters like Batman, Iron Man, and whatever, and they're doing okay, Peter Parker comes out and he's like, he needs money. He's struggling. He's about to get evicted. He's about to, he can't afford a car. He can't do this. He can't do that. And there's something about that is so real to me. I think that a lot of people understand what that's like to struggle paying the bills, or struggle getting the girl or the guy or whatever it is. And there's something that's so human about that to me. So when you combine that with the fact that he has all these amazing powers and gifts that a lot of people would want, like, I honestly think it'd be really cool to be able to climb walls and swing from webs and stuff like that. I think that'd be pretty awesome. Plus the suit is really cool, especially when you get the moving eyes and all that. Like, oh heck yeah, like I would totally rock that suit, right? I think that there's something there that just people fall in love with, and I was definitely hit with that bug, and no pun intended. But yeah, I think that a lot of people resonate with Spider-Man for that reason. And I feel really lucky to be alive in a time where Spider-Man is just coming with full force. Like, we got the Spider-Verse movie, and it's getting a sequel. We got the MCU movie, which is obviously what I'm drawing here, the video game from PlayStation, and all these other things. Like, it's just the time for Spider-Man. And I think all nerds everywhere are just beginning to unite on this one thing that we connect with, which is superheroes, which is Spider-Man, which is comics, which is, anything nerd related almost. And as an artist, as someone who likes to kind of escape into these worlds and stuff, it's just super thrilling. It's really exciting to see. And I hope that we get to see more projects like this. Spider-Man obviously is a little different because Spider-Man's older than both of my parents, right? Spider-Man's been around for a long time, but the impact and the meaning behind a fictional character and how much a world can connect with him is so powerful to me. And I think it should inspire everyone, not just artists, but writers, musicians, anyone, to try and do something and create something that can impact people. Because let's face it, at the end of the day, Spider-Man's a comic book hero. He doesn't really exist, and yet we will flock to theaters and buy the backpacks and the notebooks and the pencils and all this stuff for this superhero who doesn't really exist. And we're so invested in it. We know all the villains. We know all the characters. We know the Doc Ocks and the Green Goblins and the Sandmans, the Electros, the Venoms and Hobgoblins and all that stuff. The Mary Janes, Gwen Stacy's. And there's something about that is just really fascinating. And there are other characters who kind of fit this bill as well, but I think that Spider-Man is just in a whole league all of his own. There's something really cool about him. And so, yeah, I pretty much talked about the whole video, but you guys see the process. I've cleaned up all the lines, I colored, and yeah, if you guys like these types of videos where I just talk over a drawing like this, please let me know in the comments below, and I can make some more of them. Maybe if one of you guys want to see Batman or Black Panther or Iron Man or something, I can draw that. So yeah, appreciate you guys. Anyway, guys, thanks so much for watching this episode of the Joe McFo Show. If you want to support the channel, check out my Patreon, and please don't forget to like, share, comment, subscribe, hit the notification bell and all that cool stuff, and I will see you next time. Peace.